No niin, tervetuloa tänne seuraamaan School of Gamingin pelifestareiden toista turnauspäivää. Tänään me pelataan Overwatchissa. Meitä on 2 joukkuetta täällä. Ja esittelenpä ensin tässä meidän Striimitiimin. Eli täällä on kameran varressa minä, eli Sonja. Ja valmennan siis meidän Overwatch-joukkueita torstaisin ja tiistaisin. Ja sen lisäksi meillä on vierailemassa 2 selostajaa, Natnnif ja AngyOtter. He pääsevät kohta tuolta ääneen. Ja tosiaan tämä turnaus pelataan niin, että ensimmäisenä 3 matsia voittanut joukkue voittaa siis koko pelin. Selostus on englanniksi, mutta voitte kommentoida tuonne striimichattiin ihan suomeksi tai englanniksi, kumpikin vaan sopii. Ja mä vaihan tässä kanssa nytten kieltä. So welcome our two casters, Nat and AngyOtter.
Hi Sonja. It's very good to be here. A lot of excitement been building the past few weeks. I've been waiting to come up to Casters Match Team Vu. 2 very exciting, very up and coming teams here. I know a little bit about these teams from what I've seen in past matches. KFC, I think, are kind of maybe the favourites to come out here. They've been building this team synergy for a long time. They got a lot of communication. Alpha leading the way, spearheading their attacks coming out here. Arctic, though, they've had some switches. They have some interesting players coming in. People specialising from Rocket League. Space Cat is going to be their leader in their tank. We have to see if they can adapt to this new environment. They can adapt to KFC's ferocity and their kind of experience together. And we're going to see what they can pull out the bag. But let's think about the players here. They're going to be making the mishaps and miracles on our screens. Angy, what do you think is going to come out here? Any compositions you're hoping to see? Any players we should keep our eyes on?
I think depending on what point we're going to be starting with Repulsan, we're going to see most likely Brawl coming in. Maybe Reinhardt, since that's like a very easy comp to get good with. Depending on the synergy, we might also see a lot of dive. I'm very interested to see how they're going to play it. Maybe we see some Anna Brick, maybe we see some Kiriko or Lucia. I'm very excited to see these teams figure out how to play against each other, figuring out different team combos that work, different picks. Maybe we see a Widowmaker on the open map. It's going to be very exciting, to say the least.
Yeah, see the 2 teams here are going to be getting ready soon enough to unleash the mayhem onto our screens. But in the meantime, I'm going to think about, like you said, Angy, which point's going to come first and which could lean to their advantage. I think that Brawl is probably going to be ideal for the Arctic. They rely a little bit less on coordination, and maybe the more individual players can shine. But I think if KFC can have this strong coordinated dive, they'll be able to do a lot of damage with it. Who do you think they're going to lean towards, or who would you want to see them lean towards in terms of their composition of a tank on dive?
On dive, it's very interesting to say. I think a monk might be a good pick and try to like split them off while they're rotating with the bubble. Another pick that might work is a Doomfist also. If they play it Sim TP, for example, to shut down the TPs and to contest them doing it. It is also nice to just get out of the fights and like, cleanse yourself from sleeps, from antis, from whatever.
Well, we'll have to see if those kind of competitions come out, because I saw some flashes there, some Zarya's being picked, some Junkrats, a bit more unorthodox, but not to say impossible to make work, but we'll have to see some creative uses come out from those sides. Looks like we're going to be able to downtown here. I think you'd agree, Aggie, this is more of a dive-centric map, so maybe we'll see those Wincers and those Doomfists come out as we start to get to the hero selection. I guess I'll let you talk about what you like, what you dislike, what you think the teams will try and play around as they choose their heroes here.
Yeah, so right now we can see from Team Kafka Fan Club, we can see the Sigma being played, we can see the Kaz getting played. I think this is a very strong comp on this map with their close range brawls. They have the option to poke a bit with this comp. They're very mobile, they have cleanse, they have some ults they can combo. It's a very good comp. And on the other side, Team Arctic, they're playing a very traditional brawl comp.
Well, we're going to see them rolling out here. A Bastion's going to be what team are going to have to focus their plan around here, as both teams will start to posture onto these high grounds here. Red taking the early point presence. They have to be careful not to get poked out here. They're going to be looking to their Sojourn to build some rails, and looks like they're going to be trying to do just that. Sitting on the side, they're going to try and walk towards that right lane. As Red's Genji will sit on the point, claiming the first step. No ults on the board yet, but kind of surprisingly how fast they're building to a window here from the Baptiste. But there's that point percentage ticking up for KFC. 0 on the point, but there comes the drop from Team Blue. Ride shield is down, however, as KFC are going to swiftly disengage from that fight. Looking at the Cassie now, finding a nice shot there onto the Baptiste. Is looking to get the Basher next. Right click Randall, taking him quickly out the fight. Oh my goodness, these shots are clean onto the Sojourn, no chance to escape. Oh, the right click failing, but wise choice there not to push in there. Respecting his opponent, respecting the Sojourn had that charge, and a pretty decisive fight there for Red. Blue struggled really to kind of get on the point without their resources all drained.
Yeah, I agree with that one. They just gave up the control of the angles, they gave up control of high ground to drop down and tried to win the fight. But they gave up too many angles, they gave up the high ground.
They're looking to make use on that advice from you and take a more direct fight, and they'll find an early pick there. Genji taken out nice and quickly as these Lucio are going to try and set themselves on the point. High noon, I don't know see what that is, but he's going to find a pick onto Blue. A good start there, but unable to really snowball out as there. Again, there's that Cassidy Alpha, the team captain, really the spearhead of this operation for Team KFC.
We can really see how they're struggling once they get the initial pick. They get the initial pick, which is like a great pick, but then their resources just dwindle down once they try to chase for the backline. As we can see, they're also playing very split with the Sigma comp, which might help them now.
Yeah, well, that split is definitely going to be kind of capitalized on there by the Sombra, but they're going to find a pick. Some changes coming from both sides, but an unfortunate misstep there from Kisa. But some ults now going to come online as a second self-elimination. Team Blue there, really just still getting to grips with the core, but KFC continuing to push their advantage. Going to be another fight where it's going to be now down to a pretty rough attempt to try and stagger back onto the point. They do have a window to try and use, but Team Red have that Kiriko rush. It's going to be lethal trying to get the point. Is anyone able to touch? Looks like the Sombra is set up, ready to get that point going. So we'll make sure, yeah, there's the touch, comes in overtime now online. All eyes on Alpha again. Can he shut down this resurgence? Was me Sun to find the first pick, actually, is right click Randall out of it again. Going to cut down the Orisa, but a beat to sustain even through. It's looking like it's wraps. And it's Team Red going to take this first point here. Pretty decisive, pretty interesting swaps going from both sides. I think there was a late Venture swap. We saw that I think a swap to the Orisa. None of it really seemed to find much impact or purchase though. What do you think you want to see coming out from them, Angy?
I would say that Team KFC should stick to the comp they're playing right now. They're playing it phenomenally with the angles. They're giving up so little space. That's actually important. They're keeping the high guns. They're playing the off angles. They're controlling different lanes, which is something I would like to see from Team Arctic a little bit more. Trying to contest them on these lanes, trying to punish them being split. I think the summer was a good pick there, but maybe they try something like 2 flex supports and play one of them on the angle with a DPS. It'll be very interesting to see now.
In other situations, other tournaments, we have seen double flex support being a very viable option on this map. We were thinking about like Ents versus Ataraxia. They loved playing that Kiriko Baptiste, but I'm going to see a Kiriko coming out for KFC, and they're going to continue this wide split on the Sigma. Team Blue, Team Arctic looking to do much more of a brute force approach. If they can synchronize their pressure with this Bastion form, with this Nemesis, they can really just walk over Team Red. But Red going to keep playing that distance. Cruz Lucio is going to be making sure they can keep that distance and navigate away from the enemies. But here comes the push in, and Alpha again really looking to make himself a star on this team. KFC is all finding 2 picks there. Judd falling down, but maybe it's turnaround. Maybe it's a clutch for position to be in. But Alpha shutting down the hopes there on this first fight is Banana will just get staggered out there.
I would like to see a swap coming in from Team Arctic, most likely. Yeah, there's a swap coming in.
I don't know if
I don't know if I like it too much, if I'm being honest. I think they need to lose here to cross the space. But something that we can see here is Team KFC has a very low range. Even if with the Sigma, they're very low range. Once you need to push into them, it gets very, very hard. I would have even liked to see a Widowmaker come out, if I'm being honest. Might have
It's
been
quite
a lot.
ironic that the Sigma comp is the one that ironically wants to get quite close to the opponents, but Lucio, KFC will be trying to do that, pushing them out from the side there. Is really going to give up bonk and control here, but a nice pick from the gambling character Hanzo, finding a headshot. Storm arrows, clean one onto Alpha. That's an incredibly important pick. All the damage gone, and especially as the captain, the IGL, like ahead of the Hydra, is down, but all two others form in its place to turn this fight back in the advantage of KFC Arctic. They're going to have a beat now to deal with. Looking to be if shots can be landed from Kisa onto any key opponents. As Girage is going to take out the bastion of Arctic, and Kisa may take it down. He find that opening pick, they're not able to confirm anymore. Triage continuing to really dominate and that close range against the competition that, you know, should have the advantage in just pure damage, but it's really not able to find a pick again. It's going to be another tough stagger fight to come back in. Maybe looking at a fast swap. Lucio's going to be coming out from Banana to come and touch, but Flux could deny any such attempt. Oh, nice kill from Kisa though onto Alpha. That could be huge in allowing a touch, but I'm not sure he got the point. I'm not sure he triggered overtime. I don't think he did, but it's not going to matter because there's a rush and an effective spawn camp going on. A pretty dominant start from KFC. I mean, this is what we expected to see from past history, but some flashes of brilliance there coming out from Team Arctic, especially from the Hanzo. Find their picks, but what a surprise. It's Alpha getting that play of the game. I mean, these opening shots just so crisp. You know, we might joke about the right-click Randalls, but even those other primary fires just finding their marks when they needed to. Which map?
One of the big problems that Arctic had was contesting the cast on the high ground there, for example. On the second map especially, it got worse once they switched the Lucy out, and then ran the double flex comp, but as overall, which made them too slow to go in. Because we also saw that on the one fight when they got the opening pick, right? On the top ground. They got the opening picks, they pushed in, but then they just got kited out by a Lucia. That was the strength of Lucia right now in this current meta. They just kited away, they took different angles, and then it was on them to push in. They could stabilize there, they got the spawn once again. They had to close the spawns also, because they kited to their own side. And then the fight kind of just fell apart.
Yeah, that speed boost is just so vital in maintaining the right spacing for them, maintaining their ability to keep their advantage. And especially at that point pressure, like who are you going to send to really contest the point there? Because you kind of have to all go clumped in together. And, you know, as you mentioned at the start of the match, when they're playing that split, when they're playing their angles, you know, the Sigma's going to be poking you, the Cassie's going to be harassing and nading and Americaning all over the place from another side. And it's just going to be a real torment to get through. But I think we're looking at a dive map to come out here, which would be interesting to see a different style of these two teams. Maybe this is where Arctic's comforts will lie. Maybe I saw some Genji in the lobby of the career profiles. I saw some Reaper even. Maybe we can get some flanky emo behavior, but we'll have to see where it can come out.
I definitely expect Monkey to get played here. I expect Eva maybe on defense. That might be an option. From the way that KFC has been playing it, I expect them maybe also to pull out Nilawi on defense and play it very, very split. And just keep the pressure up with a Sigma on high ground. I think that was very, very good from them. But I think Arctic can play a dive comp and cut off these rotates from them once they play that split. I think a Monkey would do wonders for them. If they play Monkey, they can bubble a target off, they can maybe land a nade on it, maybe get an echo going. I think that would be very, very nice for them.
Just so much potency in the hands of these players that really can show us the full extent and show them how much work they can do with the tools they're given. I mean, Arctic have a reputation for being able to adapt. We have a player coming in from Rocket League to, you know, that just show adaptability. I'm not sure what does. So I'm hoping that this will be a situation where the first map, they're feeling their opponent, they're testing their strengths, testing their weaknesses, and this is the kind of point where they'll start to really show that the smartness and the execution that they can use to adapt and take a map here and start maybe a reverse sweep, maybe a push out of this game in their favor.
I think they can definitely full hold even when they're playing defense. because this is very, very hard to attack at this point. It gets very, very frustrating also for the teams when it comes to these high grounds. If you can control these high grounds in a good way, it's very, very hard to come in. I mean, we can see right now from Team KFC, as we expected with the Sigma, they're playing the Mercy, interesting. Probably for the Widowmaker to take longer angles, might be an option here. All in all, I really, really like their comp. I would have maybe played a Bub instead of Diana, but that's also fine here. I think Diana has lots of value. And if we look over to Team Arctic, we can see a Bastion, which I am not too sure about how it's going to work out on this dive map. The rest of the team is looking good.
I think it's going to definitely be maybe an attempt to I'd say to anti-dive, but I'm not sure who you're getting dived by blue. So maybe we'll see a later swap. Maybe I think the best he can kind of do is just force a lot of healing and all the Sigma's resources and able to walk, but we'll have to see. It's going to be a Bastion on attack, which is even more surprising, but it's an unfortunate pick onto Banana there. Start to push the cart, the monkey spotting, kind of where the enemy team or Team KFC have bunkered themselves up and try and set up properly, maybe send some of his people down, but again, this Bastion, I'm not sure how he's going to access his high ground. He has a nade, but not the cooldown you want to be using to try and get to high ground. I feel like this should see a swap coming out soon as well. There's the commit from Team Red as Alpha will take up the Pharaoh, who was, I think, trying to get alternate position there. Nice Suzu to keep the monkey alive as unable to save Banana, however, but they have pushed the cart a pretty respectable amount, especially have you played this map at a high level where the teams will just sit on the high ground and pepper you constantly. Getting it pushed to the bridge is not something to be completely disheartened about. It will be a nasty stagger though, so we'll have to come back, but we're getting dicey there, some nice peel coming in from KFC onto each other as Sombra and the Winston will nearly claim the lives of Capru on the Ana, but we need to see these teams regroup. We really need to see them coordinate and synchronize onto a single target. As again, it's kind of difficult when you're down a player on the Bastion, but they seem to be leaning more towards this Bastion. Maybe they have a lot of faith in the Bastion's ability to make some space, but some damage. Maybe having a Baptiste. Oh, I think they had a Kiriko beforehand.
Yes, they switched it over. It's going to be very, very interesting to see them like go in now. They just need a full regroup here. That's the most important thing. They've been staggering for the past like 40 seconds, even more now. And Team KFC is just taking so much time off the clock with these like late picks in the fight. Even now again, like Z is just flying on this Widowmaker right now with the Mercy pocket.
He's just not being contested. The Mercy is able just to constantly provide that damage boost, no real pressure being put on, but we are sending a swap to a Junkrat and a Doomfist. A swap away from the Winston is maybe less kind of consistent dive pressure and more this kind of big bursts of potential with those power punches. Same with a Junkrat even. I have to see how this is going to be made work. Again, it's Alpha and Z, the DPS of KFC, really stepping up. But it can't be omitted the support they're being provided. We saw that earlier that Sun kept the Ana of Arctic's alive from that initial dive, which could have otherwise broken this full hold. But looks like they're going to be fully committing to this kind of poke brawl style. But it's difficult when you have someone as lethal on Widowmaker as Team Arctic's player. Finding 2 headshots there, I mean, just putting in work. The team, I can see the uncertainty, I can see the kind of panic. They want to push past it, they want to just find the solution, but it's cost them all their ultimates. They've had nothing to come online, really. It's a really unfortunate situation where you're trying out different things, it's not working, but it's also kind of costing you the map. As there's the first ultimate, and I imagine maybe even ultimate. Oh, that's a fair few ultimates thrown out there. Blue making a pretty dominant statement, using a lot of their high value resources. Having only Valkyrie now for this next fight. It is open opportunity for iBlue's window to find value, but have to find a way onto this high ground to get at any value.
I think it's very important for Team KFC to not give up this high ground. I think the ults were a lot that they use, definitely, but I think it's very important to keep this high ground with their comp. Once they lose it, they're gonna get run over by this Bastion comp. That's the one problem they have. I would have liked to see another like pathing from Team Arctic. Maybe we can see that like on the defense.
Yeah, it's lucky to be quite a short one at the moment, as I'm not sure any touches be able to come through. Again, it's a rough map, it's a dominant high ground. And I think I gotta respect the commitment to the Bastion, but I do question: was there a more effective answer? Was there a better way to do it? But maybe we'll see. That maybe that was their practice and their warm up, and we're going to see that the Bastion. I can see it being more effective on the defense. I can see it being able to deny dives, being able to really utilize that high ground, like you said, Angy. Like they're going to get walked on by a Bastion, but in the same sense, do you want to walk on a Bastion? Do you want to be able to press the high ground? So maybe that's the thought process here, but we'll have to see what they come out with.
I think the idea of playing Bastion on defense is definitely better on attack here. Because on attack you have the problem of trying to cross space, which you can't really do with this comp. The only option they had would have been pushing under and then pushing from behind, maybe taking that fight there, because it's a closer range fight. That would make the Widowmaker worse. But I can definitely see a good comp coming out here from Team Arctic. I really like their defense comp.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of both of these. These are some really clean, interesting looking comps going forward. A lot of, Team KFC, a lot of mechanical potential. We're going to see more of that Widowmaker. It's been a real treat to watch. The Kiriko, my one trick. I know how potent these headshots can be. Really, so much mechanical potential for Arctic. But again, that's just the strength and the raw kind of defensive capabilities of Arctic's comp. They're going to look so good. Sorry, I meant KFC's on the left. They got the mechanical capabilities, and there's going to be those mechanics shining as Teller will be taken out pretty rapidly there. That's kind of the main centerpiece at this point, falling apart. Triage looking to continue their strange alpha, finding in another pick. That's rough. They just with the potential of this Widowmaker just opens up so much of this Widow is not contested, which again, it's very difficult to contest. Only really kind of your Sigma can do it and get away kind of scot-free. We'll have to see if a retouch can come in, as it'll look like it'll get shut down. Another dominant showing from KFC. But some interesting ideas, right?
I think Team Arctic might not have expected this dive comp. Maybe they've played JD before and they've played against a Brawl comp, for example, here. If they're trying to play high ground or Pove comp. I don't think they've quite expected the dive comp here.
They ran the Sigma on their attack. It's not unreasonable to imagine that clean shots. Not unreasonable to imagine that they would do the same, but some nice tactical plays there and some even nicer aim coming out. Going to be, I think, Hybrid next on the line.
Is next, yes.
I mean, it looked like Team Arctic do really want to stray away from these dives, so I think this is definitely a point where, or a map type even, where you can play some very strong brawl maps where the Bastion can really work. King's Row, the classic, I think is definitely one that we'd like to see. There's going to be Midtown coming out.
That's very, very interesting. The Widowmaker is very, very strong on the first and second point, definitely.
We do see a lot of Sigmas, though, especially here, so maybe not so surprising for these two tanks, as they've shown a little bit of a preference for that role, but we'll have to see how it goes inside.
I can already see the Bastion getting more value here, especially with the first point defense. Pushing into the Bastion there is very, very hard. If they can rotate the cooldowns quite good, then I think they're going to have lots of trouble pushing in.
I have no doubt that the second that Bastion cooldown comes up, the entire adrenaline of Arctic is going to be through the roof, hearts pumping, ready to just go in and blast. And as long as they can use that high burst of power, the high spike of power, they can just decimate KFC every time the time walk through. If you imagine, where are KFC going to walk to try and get through the free? Is it going to be Train, the small enclosed space that's just a choke to get through? The under main, where again that Bastion can just keep frying. Maybe they try and wrap all the way right side and play from longer range, but again, it's all going to be focused around this Bastion. We're going to have to see how they can make it work, but first have to see if they even pick it, as some interesting comps coming out or being pointed out there from the hero.
We saw a glimpse of it.
We saw a glimpse of the Mauga. I don't know if I want to see more of the Mauga.
I'm not too sure that Mauga is a bad pick here. I think it's quite a good pick on first point even. If the team can't really punish it, I think that Mauga can just live in the front line and be unkillable and take so many resources from the enemy team.
He can just kind of stand there and meat shield against, especially, even a Bastion he can just sustain with that cardiac arrest, but also he is quite a sleeper character. But talking of sleeper characters, and Orisa from Triage, moving away from that Sigma he's been so kind of comfortable on, and Again, there's the Bastion, the Team Red going to be coming out. And matching the Widow, which we saw a bit on Dorado. It was pretty dominant for KFC's Widow. Just seemed a lot more confident there on that map, on that role, but gonna have to see. It's a very important 1v1 to keep your eye on.
I am not too sure about these picks, especially with the Orisa defense here. Yes, Orisa is like better on defense than on attack since the recent like patch notes. But I believe a Remacha would have been like a really good pick here for them, with the slow especially coming in, with the form being able to block.
I would definitely back that. Remacha is just such an interesting hero to come out and so strong at the moment with the armor changes, with his block, with his shield, but it looks like Team Arctic are going to be looking to push up through this initial high ground. That's Symmetra. I do like a Symmetra. It throws you back to London Spitfire days of seeing some wacky TPs come out, but it's also going to put a lot of pressure onto the Sigma. I think it's that Widow we should keep our eyes on. There's some a nice pick across the map there. Shakira just keep soaking up damage. That full beam getting charged on, an Echo swap coming out. I like Echo on this map. I think
that is a very good swap here, especially looking at the DPS line of Team KFC.
So much kind of burst assassination mentality that there isn't an immortality on the field for Arctic, for KFC to throw out in response to a beam and a few stickies. But Zuru going to be holding down this high ground, making it very difficult to go through. But there's the right rotate you saw at the start of the game, trying to play for their advantage in range. And yeah, we see the Echo still hovering on the train there. I might be trying to join. No, they've joined the rest of their team. I like this wraparound here to get themselves this high ground advantage, as Bastion has this cooldown to come out. Echo sneaking under, looking for a flank. If they can coordinate the stickies in the Bastion form, then be huge, but not to find much of a mark just yet. Sigma jumping onto the point, but the turrets are just beaming the microwave is going, but Triage is the first to fall. Banana finding a pick, that Bastion form showing just how much damage it can pump out. This is the first kind of decisive, real execution that we've seen coming out from Arctic. We've seen again those flashes of potential, but they've really kind of cooked it together here and dished out a lovely meal.
I think that was a beautiful fight from them. They went for the long rotate, they carried the high ground, they waited out the Mei wall, which was crucial. They waited for the Mei wall to come out, and then they pushed out as a team. I think that was a beautiful fight from them.
I know, I have to agree. That was, we've seen a little bit of disjoints on the macro side, but really they kind of got it together. I think the IGL Space Cap on the tank is going to be looking to really kind of show what they can do. And he's going to continue with finding a pick onto the Widow there. The Widow has shown such kind of star power and firepower for KFC, but another pick. Arctic have turned it around. They're going to continue to kind of snowball. This is a really impressive feat and giving me a lot of hope for the future that once they get going, they just won't not stop.
I think they're just taking the momentum with them. They're going to have ults coming up now. They can win the early fights with these ults. Sigma is going to be really strong with these corners here after the recent ultimate changes. I think they might be able to snowball second point very easily here.
Yeah, we're going to be looking to see that Flux comes out as... Well, there it is. It's going to hit onto anyone. I think, unfortunately, it was not able to find a connection there, but the pressure will be enough to kind of force back Cassidy falling very low the entire backline, now getting peppered by those Hyper Spears, and meanwhile, elsewhere, the Echo able to find value, but Alpha's able to find one. Triage finding another Nano onto Triage. I think it's a winnable fight. It's a 1v3, however. No, sorry, a 2v3 is
2v3.
Yes, Alpha on the side. Back to a 1v3 now. Alpha is able to stall the point for a fair bit. Has a Venture now returning to help them. Alpha's just playing their life out in the side there, and getting away with it, their life is absolutely incredible here. Gonna make the recontest so much more doable as they able to find a pick onto the Bastion again, the centerpiece for this. They're turning it around. KFC are turning that around from Alpha living. Well, he dies there, but what a job! What an impressive performance from Alpha. Yet again, just continuing to show what they can do. And that said, can't ignore the fact that his team was there to help him. His team was there to follow, pick up the pieces. The Nano Triage able to live for so long was crucial to hold and stop that snowball onto second point.
I think Team Arctic had to force him out there. They would have to go back and flush him out before they would have liked to push there. I think that was a big mistake coming into this fight.
Yeah, letting him get away with blue murder as well. There's some more blue murder for you as Alpha take out Kisa. Cassidy very effective against Echo. A nice peel there, especially from the Sigma, making sure to use his grasp on the Orisa there. As Sun will, in the meantime, DPS Kiriko, my beloved, take out another person as Orptilla will find his one. Crucial. Alpha fighting, I think it's third in that fight. Will have a high noon for next fight. They have both DPS ults versus the duplicate and the beat for KFC. Another big ult fight though, a lot of fun VFX to look at. Hopefully a lot kill feed potential.
You see a Pharaoh swap coming in, very interesting against the Echo,
Oh
definitely.
yeah. I wonder why I think maybe they know that Team Blue are gonna wanna, Team Arctic are gonna wanna stick together so long, but this is gonna find pick onto the Pharaoh and a high noon built in that time. Rivaling out, I mean that's a Cassidy diff if I've ever seen one. He's starting to rival Alpha's performance right there. It's a pretty clean fight win, but I mean Blue have been in a situation for Arctic position 4. Can they turn it around again? Beat coming out to negate the flux, but the Iris is falling so low. The Team Arctic, can they hold on? Can they stay alive? Alpha is gonna take out Tank as the Pharaoh now coming back. He's gonna be unchecked, only the Raid Bashnik. Look, the winner's gonna come out. Can he maybe find through it? No, it's only the Lucio now on the point. Is an impossible situation to be in, stuck in a rock and a hard place. I only have one fight left, a Sombra swap coming out for Arctic,
swap
a
coming
Moira swap as well. Again, they're really doubling down on playing close together, which into the Pharaoh is gonna hurt.
They have the barrage coming up. I think that's gonna be a clean team wipe once they're pushing in. It's gonna be all on the Orisa right now to shut down this Pharaoh.
Kisa is set up quite nicely though in the backline. Able to get a hack on this Ana or a clean execution in there. The hack, Virus coming out, Ana falling low. Oh, but a nice, the Ana is shut down there, but there's the Orisa finding two, maybe making it a third. Unable to take the spear there, but dodging the rock in turn, but there's the barrage, it finds the two! Oh no! The thorn in their side of the Pharaoh has turned into just an avalanche destruction as, again, like you pointed out, Angy, it was all on that barrage. The Orisa did more than her job in taking out two, but forgetting her her capabilities, she used all her cooldowns to take out those two players and not be able to shut down the Pharaoh.
I think it's very, very hard to push in there, especially with the Pharaoh coming up. I think they know that they have the barrage coming up. They have to touch the point also. The pressure is coming in. You have to trigger the overtime. You have to push it out into open space. The Pharaoh can just chill in the backline meanwhile, build the barrage, and then come in once the Orisa use the cooldowns. It was well played from the Pharaoh also for waiting the Orisa to use all the cooldowns before going in.
Still though, a valiant push. You know, in comparison to the past two maps, you know, where we saw like maybe full holes, maybe some 100-0s, or some more kind of less favorable fights and percentages for them. It's going to be good to see them.
I see my specialty coming in. I see a ball being played.
You see the ball being played.
I see a ball being played. It's going to be very interesting. Ball of Bastion, I haven't seen that one in a while, if I'm being honest.
I honestly think right now the mental of Team Arctic is very much, you know, Triage coming out with a pretty orthodox comp, I'd say. I like a Bastion Symmetra, so I'm getting some funky teleports, a lot of burst damage. But I think, like, have you ever played against this competition before in a tournament? Have you ever
played against something similar, but you have to watch out here now. If they don't get on a TP in time, they're gonna flip the map.
Yeah. And I think that the ball can really punish these TPs. The Bastion grenade can, he can just fall on those TPs, but I think it's going to be those unorthodox. So that's a pretty unorthodox positioning. Is an early fight for Arctic. I didn't even see them on the spectating. That's taken me by surprise. That's exactly the kind of thing you want to see. A nice, decisive, creative way of doing it. They were just tucked away in those little spaces. Very well thought out. Midtown is just awoken some like deep macro instinct within this team.
We see the swaps coming in instantly. Instantly the monkey combo is getting locked.
Ooh.
As we can see.
I like the Genji from Alpha to be able to kind of deny this Bastion, but the Winston I feel is going to struggle to not get burned down as well. Especially when there's no defense to keep him alive as Alpha's been taken out of the fight.
As a ball player, I can tell you the ball is uncontested. They cannot shut down this ball.
This ball.
He will get so much value in these fights with keeping people out of place, which then the Bastion can punish.
So though, he has had to force his eventually shields there, as Triage is going to use his bubble there just to get set up on that for high going retreat into the train. But again, who do you dive here?
Also, it's gonna be so hard to dive in. They have a mortality field, they have orbs to come in, they even have the soldier heal field.
Yeah, especially with the recent changes to armor, the Bastion is really the most effective tank buster as well.
Also the ball changes. Don't forget the ball shields. He can shield the scene nowadays.
And there's, look at that, the ball going in into 5 and making it out relatively unscathed, of course, with the support of his backline there. Nana
He's causing so much chaos in this backline. It's unbelievable.
Because on minefield as well, it's even more chaos to take advantage of. It's going to force the Kiriko's TP. They need to kind of get on top of that. As Sound's actually going to find a pick there, able to take an inch and make a mile, but the minefields so clutch. Taking out the DPS, that's the whole stop, that's the whole firepower of KFC just cut down. How do you snowball this? You know, there were some good picks made from KFC, but you have no more. As there's the confidence from Kisa just running into the room trying to look for some picks. Well, there's some more firepower. There's actually a primal and a rush is going to come out. Maybe even see a beat invested as Triage find a pick onto Banana. There's the window. I Blue throwing out in desperation, but not able to find any value through it. I think, you know, Blue were just able to snowball there with their ults and didn't really take it. They weren't taken advantage of in the fact that they lost 2 people. They would kind of just let recuperate.
The big problem here was also no defensive ult for the side of Arctic. With this double flex support. If they have a Lucio, maybe they can beat this. Maybe they can fight this.
And
not too sure about the Moira buff, especially with a ball that requires less healing than other things.
Yeah, I think you're just entirely playing it to deal with the Genji. As we're gonna see a Mercy coming out from Team KFC. We'll see a Pharmacy Orisa. I mean, Orisa used to be pretty self-sustainable. This is a pretty bold pick as well. There's going to be a beat to sustain him and a blade. We're going to see if that finds some markers. Looks like it. I'm not finding any marks, but 2 picks found on the side of both teams now. As actually, no, it's not on both teams. It's 2 picks on just one. As make that 5. That's crucial.
Yes, the card is not moving very well. Now it's starting to move.
So
Ball did a good job of stalling there.
Not something to be incredibly upset about. And you kind of achieved your goals. Actually, he's still stalling here. Will he get out alive? Is maybe an alpha level performance with this? Oh, he's definitely inspired by alpha, keeping himself alive. Very nice, keeping himself up and around and evolving as the first going to fall. Like, using that jump dash to get down, cover, ground Pharaoh on the prowl as well. The real prowler is idle on that Baptiste, finding one Kisa on the other tank buster as well. They've got double tank buster practically with a Bastion Reaper. They are all about shutting down Triage and letting their tank do all the work. As both DPS there, finding some real success.
We're seeing my least favorite hero come into this game.
Zarya.
I don't believe the Zarya is gonna be the best pick here. But
I think
it, I guess.
if you wanna pocket alpha, you have a Mercy. You have him getting bubbled, as you can see right there. He can just TP on in, but a slam coming in out. There's going to be bubbling the Bastion. We're going to see a mirror on the DPS side, but under KFC, he's pushing the cart for pretty much free. We're going to see maybe a right side flank here. Oh, there's the Wraith Force of Kisa. We get punished. Will the others get bailed out by his team as Triage going to find a pick onto the Moira. They're very specific target. Yeah, that's Kisa being forced out there. A little bit of maybe an overzealous attempt to hold the point. Just kind of give up the other advantage on the high ground for free. As I know, just like the Zarya, but maybe in this specific situation against his team comp, it seems to be pretty effective.
I also don't know if you didn't see it, but Crow, Diana from Team KFC also slapped the repold.
I didn't see that. That's a very nice play to pick up on. Again, I think the mechanics really being let shine from KFC as they're pushing towards the second point as well. Maybe they won't even need mechanics, they have a Reaper of their own and no sleeper on me side to defeat it. As there's a pin in onto Reinhardt as there's that Reaper ult, so potent. I think, well, Alpha finding 4, and I think the honor for KFC very proud there to sleep Reaper ult as well. We've just seen how devastating, albeit it lets KFC take their 3rd map. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that it is the game over. 3-0 towards KFC. Still though, again, enough cannot be said about how impressive of a show that Arctic made it. I'm not sure
was
if
one of the best Overwatch rounds I've seen for this level.
Yeah, seems to be we have 3 victories for KFC, which means they win the tourney.
Oh wow!
So, congratulations,
deserved.
KFC, and really well played, Team Arctic.
Are we allowed to give a player of the match? I think there's a lot of people in contention though, so maybe it's quite difficult as well. Everyone did their job so well. We saw some big players coming out from everyone, and maybe in the future we will see Arctic lean into more of that ball style. I think that Jakira definitely showed a real proficiency on the character. I blew on the Baptiste. Maybe we'll see some style of comps. So a Baptiste ball definitely seems to be something they can keep working on and keep improving. And a pretty dominant showing from KFC, but props to Arctic still.